did feel like the animals were suffering at that time. And it's only gotten worse over the years.
Hello, sir. Do you work at Marineland? Okay, is there anyone here that can talk to us, sir?
Nobody will talk to you.
Do you know if anyone's feeding the animals? David Menzies for Rebel News here in Niagara Falls, Ontario. And folks, I'm at Marineland and Game Farm. It is a facility that first opened back in 1961, but as you can see, it has clearly fallen on hard times. As a matter of fact, it is temporarily closed for the season, according to the website. A lot of speculation has it that it's never going to reopen, and it's somewhat jarring in a way because it used to be, in yesterdecade, a rite of passage if you were visiting Niagara Falls, in addition to all the cheesy attractions on Clifton Hill and of course the magnificent waterfalls themselves. You would come out to Marineland and take in the shows, go into the game farm. Indeed, in the 70s and 80s, you couldn't turn on a TV channel without seeing these ads.
Everyone loves a holiday, watching the whales while they swim and play. They jump in the air, splashing waves in your hair. Everyone loves Marineland. Niagara Falls, Ontario, it's always a fun place to go. Seeing friends you miss, a great big kiss. Everyone loves Marineland.
Yes, everyone loves Marineland was the phrase, but apparently not everyone. It looks like the park is in its dying days, and the problem is the people aren't here. It's not open for business. No tourists are coming, but the animals, many animals, aquatic mammals and others remain. And that has been problematic in terms of the care these animals should be receiving. Animal Justice is a animal rights group. It has filed numerous complaints with Animal Welfare Services regarding Marineland. There is at least one beluga, according to Animal Justice, that is in isolation due to apparent illness. The isolation tank provides barely enough room for the whale to swim and suggests that at least one more beluga at this notorious facility, as Animal Justice calls it, has fallen ill. Since 2019, approximately 18 belugas, one dolphin, and Kiska the orca have died at Marineland. And it gets worse, folks. At the time Animal Justice submitted its latest complaint to Animal Welfare Services, the stage at Marineland was being demolished. The problem is that, based on marine mammal welfare experts' opinion, the noise and the vibrations and the disruption from the demolition activity are likely causing the animals to experience fear and psychological suffering. Now, it should be noted that Animal Welfare Services has inspected Marineland more than 220 times since January 2020 alone. They have tested the water quality in tanks, but according to Animal Justice, Ontario's Provincial Animal Welfare Services Act empowers AWS to provide needed care to animals in distress and require animals' owners to cover the costs. Yet, despite widespread public concern about animal suffering at Marineland, AWS has never laid charges against the facility for its treatment of whales and dolphins. As Animal Justice notes, quote, the notorious roadside zoo's only conviction under Ontario's animal welfare laws came last year for its treatment of 3 young bears. Now, folks, we did reach out to the Provincial Animal Welfare Services body. They're known as PAWS. We also reached out to the City of Niagara Falls, and naturally we reached out to Marineland. None of our calls nor emails were returned. But I have with me today Jay Banister. He is the founder of Mad Lab Press, and he did a video back in June exposing the horrific conditions it appears to be that the belugas are in right now at Marineland. And Jay has added insight. You see, his father, going back to the 1990s, used to work at Marineland. Let's see what Jay has to say. In the department of giving credit where credit is due, it was Jay's video back in June that tipped us off about, I guess, the decrepit state Marineland is in. The physical buildings is one thing, but of course we have to have empathy for the animals that remain here, even though that this is certainly not a viable business anymore. Before I get to Jay, let's throw to a clip of what Jay discovered back in June.
I grew up in Niagara Falls, and I'm very familiar with this park. I've also been there many times when I was a kid. I always felt that Marineland was a dark place when the gates closed at night. There are a few documentaries out there about this place, but in my film, I am just going to show you what has been left behind, the state of the park, and animal abuse that still goes on. The park has since been pretty much abandoned, overgrown, and dirty. And yet, there still remains 24 beluga whales, 3 dolphins, bears, and other wildlife that has been left to roam the park and fend for themselves. This needs to stop now. This is Mad Lab Press.
Admittedly, I'm not a marine mammal expert, and I gather neither are you, but the footage, it doesn't look good. What do you make of it?
It's pretty sad, to say the least, to see so many animals not being cared for. The dolphins, the beluga whales, they have a bear here that's just left to roam, and they have hundreds of deer just free to do what they want in the park. And I want to know who's feeding the animals, who's taking care of them.
Your father worked here going back to the 90s. What was your dad's assessment of this theme park when it was in operation?
Well, my dad worked here in the late 90s. He worked security for the entire Marineland park, and he has some interesting stories for sure. The previous owner, or the original owner, John Holler, wasn't very, let's say, nice to the animals that were in need of care. And there's been a few instances, allegedly, that he has taken matters into his own hands and used a shotgun to dispatch some of the animals that are sick.
Is that actually legal in a municipality?
No, not at all. It's highly illegal, and there actually is a news article about him killing 2 dogs that were in the neighborhood that were his neighbors. He used a shotgun to kill the 2 dogs that were on the property.
And tell me, did your father witness anything else in terms of, if not animal cruelty, maybe unintentional maltreatment of the animals?
It wasn't so much the maltreatment of animals, it was the non-funding of the park. He saw the decline happen extremely fast in the late 90s, and it just seemed as though the park was running out of money. So who's going to suffer is the animals are going to suffer when that happens.
That's incredible, because as a child, I remember coming here. I remember the place being packed. You would, back in the day when they had orcas, you'd want to sit up front because you were guaranteed to get splashed on, and that was a lot of fun. But what happened to a successful amusement park? Was it maybe just people having more awareness that maybe these kind of facilities, when it comes to these incredible aquatic mammals, maybe it's not really the best kind of facility for their own well-being?
It's true. Like I said, it all comes down to money. Like a park this size, it's absolutely gigantic. If you took a drone back that way, it goes back extremely far, and the amount of money it takes to run a place like this is I can't even imagine. And what my dad had told me when he worked here was that he did feel like the animals were suffering at that time, and it's only gotten worse over the years.
Oh, pardon me? What's your name, sir? Well, folks, somebody in a red pickup truck just pulled up. I'm not sure I heard him. I think he said he's going to call the police. I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's security. If he is, we'll leave as long as he identifies himself and shows us his security license. But it's interesting. He's coming back again, and there's a car, a Chevy over there. Hi. Hey, how you doing, sir? What's that? I didn't ask you anything. Do you work here? Pardon me? Okay, is there anyone here that can talk to us, sir? Do you know if anyone's feeding the animals? This is weird. I am dead certain this guy works here, or else he's just a squatter leaving, but he came out from the service entrance, and you might have heard me ask how you're doing, and his answer was nope. So we're not getting any information from this person. This is a very mysterious and ominous kind of place right now, folks. It is the opposite of an amusement park. Are you being amused by what you're seeing? I'm experiencing the opposite of amusement. I'm experiencing dread. So that was bizarre, folks. The fellow who was turtling in his Toyota RAV4, he put it in gear, and he drove by our vehicles to the left of me, and he filmed our license plates. I don't know why. You're free to film. We don't run. We don't hide. I've never seen such a bizarre response. Jay, what do you make of this? You being an ex-cop, your father being a former employer of Marineland, like, what is going on?
I believe it's an intimidation thing. That's all it is. They don't want us here. They don't want to for us to shine light on what's happening behind the gates here. That's all it is.
Hi, sir. How you doing? Good. Do you work here by any chance?
I'm not answering any questions.
Oh, okay.
I'm a rebel, but I won't answer any questions.
Okay, I appreciate that, sir. Is there anyone at the park that could answer our questions?
Nobody will talk to you.
No one will talk. Can I give you my card and you can pass it on to somebody then? Okay, then. And folks, you can see there is a sign here, stop, authorized personnel only beyond this point. We're going to, of course, respect that sign. We're not going to trespass, even though we easily could. If you look at this gate, it's not locked. It's just being held here by a bungee cord. So security isn't all that tight, but a sign is telling us to keep out, and we'll keep out. And hopefully, maybe when there's a shift change or when it's quitting time, we can actually interview an employee here. And I don't want to give them a hard time. I just want to know how the animals are doing. That's all. Hello, sir. Do you work at Marineland? Sorry to interrupt your call, sir. Can you tell us how the animals are being cared for? I understand. Can you hang around? Can you make yourself available for an interview? You actually work here, or you're trying to get a job here?
Trying to get a job.
Oh, okay then. The same with you, ma'am, or? Okay then. And what would be the nature of the job? Because the park looks closed.
I don't know. We shall just know. We shall
No.
just ask. We don't know.
this facility is not going to reopen. I know the website says temporarily closed, but here we are in the dog days of summer. This is when, you make money. As well, we understand from a website that deals with such things, the amusement rides are up for sale. I guess they're trying to pawn those off to other carnivals, make as much money as they can. So, you raise a great question. Given the size of this park, what's going to replace Marineland and Game Farm?
Well, I did some research on it, and supposedly SeaWorld, and I believe it's Los Angeles, are looking into purchasing this facility. I'm not sure, but something needs to happen now because these animals are suffering so badly that, as you can see here in the parking lot, there's only a few cars here. So are they here for the animals, or are they here for the park cleanup? I'm not sure, but behind me, there's literally hundreds and hundreds of animals that are suffering right now.
It doesn't look to me that these conditions are ideal.
The disturbing part for me is that they're more interested in selling the rides than looking after the animals. They're really promoting the rides. They have a website where they're selling all the rides in the park, but what about the animals? Where are the animals going to go? That's what I'm more concerned about than anything else.
And do you think those who are the regulators, those who are in authority in terms of animal welfare in this province, in this city, have they dropped the ball? Because the complaints are endless, but nothing seems to be getting done. Why?
That's a good question. I'm not sure why things aren't getting done here. This has been an ongoing problem for years now. It's not like it happened last week or something. It's been going on for years and years and years, and nothing is getting done. As you can hear the dolphins behind me right now. I noticed that the beluga pools, that day that I was filming, was about 40 degrees outside, and the pools are white, and there's no shelter for the beluga whales, so they're literally getting baked from the sun in their enclosures. And there's no form of protection for them at all. According
to Animal Justice, they say there's a potential for the export of whales from Marineland to overseas facilities like Chimelong Ocean Kingdom in China, where animals could be used in entertainment and breeding programs. These are activities that are banned in Canada. So I guess we'll just have to, hope for the best and plan for the worst.
I think this should be a learning lesson for everybody. Once these animals are taken care of, I don't think they should have any more water parks when it comes to animals, or like places like Marineland, SeaWorld. I think they all should be banned.
The saying used to go for this park, everyone loves Marineland. Well, I would argue this, Marineland has to earn our love, and currently they are not doing so. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, I know you love it when Rebel News tells you the other side of the story, but the fact is we need your help. Unlike Mark Carney's trained SEALs, we do not receive a single dollar from the federal government, nor would we accept it if offered. If you can, please go to rebelfieldreports.com. That's rebelfieldreports.com. And if you're able to, kindly make a donation.